I've gotten. There we are. Welcome back, everybody, to another session of Pathfinding Adventures with the Wicked Hedges. We're going to go straight into the recap from last session because there's not too much for me to talk about. So I'm going to start it off with Zara.
Okay, so last session started. We were under the temple or church of Hecate, whatever it was, in some really strange rooms that appeared to be like different kind of biomes. While we were kind of getting our bearings underneath us, we heard a voice that sounded kind of like Estrella calling for help, and we went through this beautiful, like ornate wall with all these like fancy carvings on it that looked like somebody had clawed it with great big claws. And when we opened up the door that looked like something was trying to escape out of, it the next weird thing was a frozen wasteland, which was kind of neat. Had some Yeti out there, and not really sure what exactly was calling out for us because we never really did encounter anything. Um, but we did sneak out into the to the snow to poison the Yeti with some poisoned dinosaur meat since we just had piles of it on hand. That was going pretty well. Zara disguised herself as a hag to do so, and then in a nearby tent, out popped a hag that looked kind of like the one Zara was disguised as, and she got really upset that we were trying to, um, you know, poison all of her Yetis, and then that was a pretty good fight. After we killed everything, because that's how we roll in this particular group, uh, we dove down to the bottom of a lake and found a hidden door that when we managed to get through that, brought us into our final area where we encountered what was it, like 12 hags, 9 hags, and that was a really exciting fight. And that would be most of what happened was lots of combat and lots of trying to not die. Mador?
Yes, I can't fill in too many of the more of the blanks. Yeah, I think there are 7 hags. But yeah, in fact, the last one is what did most of the damage to a few of us when it blew up. See, I can't think of it. I believe we have found the children too. If I recall, that was one of the last bits just before we end the session last time. We don't know if it's all the children, but we have found some children here. I can't think of it now. Let's head this over to Marisol.
Yeah, most has been mentioned, really. I put fire to myself again. That happened. Other than that, we are currently standing in a room with cages and children in them, as Mador said, and not really sure what to do now. Marius?
Magnus?
Yeah, Magnus, sorry.
Fine. You meant. Yeah, Magnus found the trapdoor at the bottom of the lake by doing a bit of a wily coyote and winding up to hit the exploding creature and zooming across the ice into the frigid water. Nice, interesting time trying to get out of there in full plate armor, which was holding him at the bottom of the lake. But thanks to Preacher, he managed it, and Estrella took a little frigid dip as well. Very nice of her to come after him. The fire that was keeping us warm went out and pretty much pushed us down the trapdoor. And then the big fight at the end, and all the hags. Zara called on Estrella's estranged husband, viz. the magical eye, and blasted the moon hag, a good one. And Yeah. The hag's gone, exploded, melted away. Lots of children, and just lots of us standing around going, well, gee, what next? EOD.
Well, we didn't talk about how when we got through the door at the bottom of the lake, I prestidigitated everybody dry, and then we almost got mugged by like a million frenzied tooth fairies. That was a special moment. Then I froze them all, and they exploded into little bits. And we had like the giant spider that came after us. There was a bit to do before we got to the hag group, but it was pretty fun. It was very amusing to picture all these just screaming tooth fairies that immediately got turned to ice and then just kind of shattered into tiny pieces. Other than that, I think you guys have summed it up pretty well. So I'll throw it to Estrella.
Not much to add. We did a lot of fighting. Estrella got pretty chilled in the fight against the Yetis. But we made it through and found a few children that needs rescuing now. Has anyone not gone yet?
Yep.
All right, over to you, Preacher.
Well, the only thing I want to add is that Yodi really kicked butt on the spells. I did like especially the summoned Drake, I think it was the new reveal. And I bet it didn't like being in the frigid cold. But it did work. Certainly drew their attention. The Yetis went up and charged it. Also, Preacher revealed that he is secretly secretly David Hasselhoff by swimming very, very fast. Other than that, no. I think we're done.
Yes, indeed. So you do find yourself in the room where the last of these very unpleasant creatures were. All of the hags. It's difficult to say how many kids are in the cages, but from what you can see, the cages themselves are warded in some way, shape, or form, because none of them have actually been injured by the spells that have been thrown around. And there's been a fair amount of spells that are thrown around.
We need to get him out of there.
I'm on it.
I'm gonna just help Estrella with everything I can.
All right, so Estrella's gonna pick a lock, I assume.
Yep.
Very well. Give us a DC 41 will save, please.
Will save. Okay. 41 out. That will probably not work until it's a crit. No.
Nope. So as Estrella comes within maybe 10 feet of the door and starts picking at the lock, she just takes one step forward, speaks a word, and there's like a little blink, and she's inside the cage.
Guys, careful when you come close. I don't exactly know what happened.
Impressive.
Do I know anything about the magic that teleported him into the cage? I rolled an Arcana a second ago.
Yeah, I mean, you were already studying the cages, and pretty certain this is not hag magic. Again, it looks to be Second Empire magic, but you saw the spell kind of, or the magic power, the arcane power kind of questing around Estrella, looking for something, probably some sort of item that'll show that you're allowed to get close to the cage before it just went off on her, and she spoke a word that you think is from the Elven dialect they spoke during the Second Empire, and blinked her in there, basically.
Then I will start rummaging about and see if I can find anything that might seem like an item appropriate to this description.
Right. So Yodi's rummaging about. While you're looking, there's a lot of magical stuff. Like going through the hag's hoards is like wand, staff, hat, boots, underwear, like all sorts of magical doohickeys that you're picking up while you're going through it. Towards the end, you see that the biggest chest is behind, like the moon hag's throne with all of the skulls and bones around it, under a large plaque. The plaque itself also emanates magic.
Does it say anything? I assume it's got some writing on it.
It's got writing on it. It's also in the same language. This one in a dwarven dialect. It's long been sort of a conjunction among historians that elves, humans, and dwarves pretty much spoke their languages interchangeably, and everybody understood all of them. Once you start focusing on the plaque, it lights up, and everybody in the room can hear a patrician, not patrician, matrician? What is the female version of a patrician? Anyway, not a matronly, but a strong female voice speaking out. Congratulations on completing the Advanced Frontier Force Scout Qualification course. You have a 72-hour rest period before you are to report to Fort Shedduar for duty.
Fort where?
What?
Exactly.
And 8 badges.
Fort what?
Of the sort that you would sew onto a uniform. Materialize in front of Iodi.
Preacher? Do you recognize any of these?
I think we've been recruited.
Well, I take a look at the badges and think about what the fort was that was mentioned.
Being recruited is all fine and good, but how about getting us out here?
Yeah, from the all of the badges are a deep forest green with a red sail ship. Looks like a Viking longship sewn onto them with a wolf's head over it on the right side and 2 crossed arrows on the left side.
Are the badges magic?
Very much so.
Okay. I will take one of them, and I will see if Ed has any reaction when I walk in the direction of the cages.
Yeah, the moment you grab the badge, the voice goes, please state your specialization. Officer, scout, vanguard, or squad mage?
Yodi says squad mage?
Behind the plaque, there's a clunking sound, and you can see what you thought was just like a decorative gargoyle's mouth, a short, maybe twice the length of Iodi's hand, brass rod falls down.
Ooh, me next. I run over and grab one in my mouth.
Yeah, the same question comes up.
Angel of Mice Death.
Invalid specialization required. Please report to General Kanyo to reset specialization dispenser.
Oh.
And what fell out of the gargoyle? A brass log?
More like a smaller rod.
Oh, okay, a rod. I see. Obviously magical as well, right?
Yes, very much so.
Then I will pick that up.
Oh, it's magic. You'll get the thingamajigger on the thingamajigger.
The thingamajigger on the thingamajigger.
I guess I'll go pick up a badge.
I will do the same.
Me too.
Guys,
We'll get
We
you
are
in.
trying
Hold
to
on.
get you out of there. We are trying to understand how this works.
Another thing Yodi finds that's slightly more worrying, well, at least in the sense that they were making these things, but not in the sense that you guys have appropriated them, so to speak. It's the hags have been crafting some sort of very, very powerful ritual magical items here. A gem, a staff, and what looks like a wooden handle about 5 feet in length.
While the others are working out how to get us out of the cages, Estrella wants to start checking on the children she is in with.
And she'll get to do that once I'm done speaking.
Mhm.
So the gem, about the size of a fist, looks like polished amber with, you think it's the bones of 2 fairies of some sort, holding hands in some sort of dancing scene. Seems like it's going to work pretty much like an iron stone, just more bigger. The staff is of gnarled wood, mostly wood. There's a lot of bone kind of worked into the wood organically. It's been grown around bones, both finger bones from various races and ages, and a lot of teeth involved in it as well. It's not a pretty staff, but you can feel it humming with a sort of power. It's the first time Yodi meets it, while the haft is, well, it still needs some sort of weapon fitted onto it, but it's definitely made for weapon. Picking it up, Yodi gets a sense of power, strength, confidence, and a niggling urge to turn around and smack Magnus with it.
How powerful is this urge? Do I need to make a roll?
Nah, not you. You've had weird urges all your life. This is nothing new. Probably wanted to smack Magnus more than once already today. No.
That's fair. So all this magic around these items feels kind of evil, I'm assuming, huh?
Not inherently evil, but different. Weird. Strange. It's hag magic. It probably would feel inherently evil if they'd gotten to, start using these things for whatever they were planning on using them for, but you've managed to intercept them before they finished their last third item of power. Potentially last, but at least the third. And from the feel of these things, they haven't actually been used yet.
Well, Iori does not think anyone should mess with these items until I have time to look at them. So I will put these away. And I will stuff them in a sack, as it were.
Yeah.
As you wish, Master Yodi.
Meanwhile, Estrella's talking to the kids. Most of them are nonverbal at this point. They are so in shock and traumatized that they're just kind of hugging a wall. Or hugging the walls, trying to stay as far away from Estrella as possible.
Hey, it's all good. We're here to save you. The hacks are gone.
Yeah, the moment she starts moving towards them, they just start screaming and trying to stay as far away from her as possible.
She stops and stays on her side, just speaking calmly to them and getting some of the food out of her bag to hand to them.
Well, I will hold out the rod and the badge, and I will walk towards one of the cages and see what happens.
Yeah, so do you walk towards the one Estrella's in, or the one to the left?
I'll go to the one to the left.
Yeah, so walking towards it, you can see the power is questing out, and he finds the badge. Another voice goes, qualified candidates acquired. You may now release your colleagues who have failed the qualification course. And then the door swings open and he can walk towards it.
I pick up mine.
Once I open the doors, I'll go to Marisol and give her a nudge, and I will be like, "Yodi is no good with children. You can handle this."
I just need to accept my badge first, then.
And I'll go back to rummaging about all the loot that we found.
Yep, you get the same message that Edamir got. The qualification course bonus dispenser is out of order, and you need to speak to General Kanio about it.
Thanks a lot, Ed.
I seem to have broke it. I just wanted more mice. Is that so much to ask?
Yes.
Is that so hard to get? You can hunt them down yourself. And don't you even have a colony in your pocket? I know my pocket is still wriggling.
I'm just glad that we didn't require an officer stick or something to get them out of there.
Yeah, thank the gods. I walk towards the cage.
Yeah, as you start walking toward it, the kids are also clumping away and screaming and trying to stay away from you.
I understand that you're frightened, but we're gonna get you out of here, okay?
Maybe Magnus should try it. I'm not sure, but I mean, the hags were female and appeared to be women helping them. Maybe Magnus has a better chance being a man.
Perhaps. I'll go open your cage then.
Thank you.
I walk towards the other one.
Yeah, same thing happens. You're allowed to release the candidates that failed the qualification course.
Come on. Or we also know that Mador is surprisingly good with kids.
True. You two should have a try. And Estrella walks over to the badges to pick up her own.
And Magnus slowly edges his way towards the cage that Estrella was in. It's all right, little ones. You're free. You can come out now. We've food for you. All the evil hags, they're gone. They'll no hurt you again.
Yes, it looks like Mador wants to say something as well.
So anyone gets a badge gets the same message as what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go to the other cage Yodi was at and see if I can I'll take my helm off, put all my weapons aside, and kind of kneel down on a knee to see if I can get the kids to approach, talking to them gently.
Right, so I'm gonna need diplomacy rolls from both Magnus and Mador. Yeah, the kids kind of trust Magnus and are willing to come with him. With Mador, not so much. They're kind of like scary eyes. And they're staying back, staying well away from Estrella and Mador and Marisol and Zara for that matter as well. They seem undecided on Yodi.
Cough, cough.
Zara seems to wish to speak.
Zara's going to pick up a badge, and I would like to attempt to decipher what the plaque says, kind of like I did with the First Empire language.
Very well. Seems like you are. Let me just. I gotta make a note here so I don't screw this up entirely. There we are. So, from the look of it, you have all been designated as 3rd AFFS Squad, 2nd Brigade, or 2nd Battalion, 4th Brigade, 7th Army. In the Second Empire.
3rd Brigade, 7th Army.
Yeah. Oh, got to be on the wrong thing. Right thing, Shoggoth. Pretty confident this will actually work as magical identification towards any Second Empire magical security you should come across.
I'm not curious to see what happens if I pick up one of the badges. I already have a designation in the 2nd Legion.
So Magnus pulls out his bowl of ever refilling fish stew and puts it quietly on the floor and just says to the children, "It's all right. You can't help the eyes. They're just how his people are. He's a drow. Yeah, the eyes are just so he can see underground. Yeah, it's fine. Here you go. Some food. Come help yourself. It's all safe now. You didn't have to worry, Wayans." And just gently backs away. Just give him some space. They've been through a rough time.
I'm just going to hand over my bag of snacks to Magnus and move back again.
Thank you, Marisol. And he just opens it for him and lays it next to the fish stew.
I'll run over and drop a mouse. Dead mouse by the fish stew.
I don't think he can't hurt. Thanks, Ed. Just gently does it.
And they don't seem to be afraid of the fox at all. They actually think he's super cute.
Shoggoth, I'm going to try one of my abilities known as Supernatural Charm.
Oh.
It's one of the innate abilities of being a half-elf. Oh, you want me to roll something different?
No, that's actually going to work fairly well.
Yeah, so Magnus just takes off one of his gauntlets and pets Edemir, and then lets the kids approach.
I'll try to talk to the kids again.
Well, what a bit of cajoling, use of magical powers, and of course, a cute fox that everybody wants to pet. You do manage to kind of gather all the children and get them from wild-eyed panic over to just heavily traumatized, but able to follow direction.
Are any in the uniforms of the orphanage, the orphanarium?
Some of them may have been in uniforms at some point, but it's all just tatters now, and most of it's got mold growing on it from like the damp and cold down here. So, yeah, did anybody not pick up their badge yet?
I was going to. Was wondering what happens when I do it.
Right.
Since I already have a designation in the Praetorian Guard of the 2nd Legion.
Yeah, as Preacher grabs his badge, the same female voice comes up and goes like, "Colonel Chaplain Hiram, congratulations on your qualification. Your regiment will be notified and your pay adjusted accordingly.
We get paid?
What the
We would have some 1,000 years ago.
Chaplain Hiram?
That is interesting.
I stand pretty flabbergasted for a moment and wondering if Hiram is a name or a title.
Magnus steps up and takes his badge and designates himself as Vanguard.
Yep, again, gotta report to General Kanyo to report that the loot dispenser is broken. And then you get the same message, but you gotta report that the loot dispenser is empty.
I was about to say, let's bust it open and see what loot's inside.
Why is the loot gone?
Can I decipher anything else from that plaque, given that I might be able to actually read it? I do have Elven and Dwarven, and being from the right time period.
You are fully able to read it, but it says the same as they spoke. You did just qualify the Advanced Frontier Force Scots qualification force. And under it, without being read out, current commander officer is General Kaelia Kanyo.
Marisol, would you rather say I'm a scout or vanguard?
Doesn't matter, it's broken.
Well, the dispenser is.
It might matter if you come across other second legions, so I suggest we spread out our abilities. Scout, I suggest.
Well, I'm the officer.
Although, as you look at it, Preacher, you can see a list of rankings start scrolling. And your squad highlighted or lighting up. You've currently got the 17th place for time on this qualification course.
17th out of how many?
Do you really want to know?
Well, yeah. Were we last?
Oh no, there's many squads in this listing. Although it zooms in for Preacher on the relevant part where you're in the top 20. Just over the 18th place, led by some person named Lieutenant Mahler.
Do I know anything about this Kaelia Kanyo, General?
It sort of tickles your brain cells, but it's not coming back right now. You'd have to probably find some sort of order of battle documents from way back and go looking a bit.
All right. Then I start looking around for a way out and or any kind of documentation, stonework, scrolls.
Well, you do seem to have gotten what documentation you were getting, which was the squad badge. Numbered from 1 to 8, by the way. You've pretty much picked them up just kind of haphazardly. Seems like currently Edamir is the one wearing the number 1 badge. And there's a section filled with detritus that's sort of lighting up in a square around it.
Head on over.
Right. As Preacher heads over to it, the voice goes, training facility will reset in 15 minutes. Please clear the area and allow the next squad to start their qualifications. And you can see the glow gets sort of stronger as Preacher walks towards the square.
We might have to exit fast.
Aye, I think it's time to get out of here. Come on, little ones. Pick up the food. Let's go.
Right. Give us a charisma roll or a diplomacy roll with a +5 from Mador's supernatural charm. You've never seen Mador be that. He is smooth as butter with these kids. And as they start walking onto the square, they go like poof and disappear.
Where'd they go?
So I was gonna go step on the square.
Same.
Yep.
I want to search the moon hag's body real quick and see if I can find a badge on her.
Yep. As you search the moon hag, now knowing what to look for, even though the moon hag's been charred to almost down to the bone from your spells, you do find the squad badge on her. Seems like these hags did do the exact same thing you did at some point before making it their lair.
I'm gonna swipe it and then go onto the square.
Yoink. Right.
I'm gonna wait till all the kids are out of here before Otherwise, I'll be one of the last ones to leave.
Right. It is strange once Medora, the last one, steps into the square, like the dichotomy of being in this dark. You hadn't realized how bad it smelled until you actually get clean air, and you find yourself standing in the common room. They're now very, very crowded due to all kids. Common room with the long dinner table in the tower you visited so long ago, piled up with hot food and drink. You can sort of hear a distant cheering.
This is nice.
Our tower?
Our tower?
Yeah, and it also feels like somebody's giving like a friendly, like a welcoming clap on the shoulder.
Magnus is looking around in confusion because he's never been here before.
It does this. It's ghosts or something.
Good ghost, Magnus. Good ghost.
I'll take your word for it. Second day Empire ghosts?
Yes.
Something like that.
Ah. Ties in with the training facility.
I'm gonna, if I can find a runner, I want someone to the Mother Superior.
Yeah, as you exit the door, two of the city watch, the surviving ones, kind of jump up, having probably a triple heart attack. Like, Jesus, where did you come from? Grandmaster Mador, what could we do for you?
Could you send word to Mother Superior and other officials that we have, approximately 40 children in here, I think. How many, roughly, Shoggoth?
You didn't actually count, but you're pretty certain you have more than 40, maybe twice the amount, actually.
We have a lot of children here that were probably missing, that were supposed to go to the orphanarium, and send word to Mother Superior, too, please.
The kids seem to be afraid of women most, just saying.
Yep, they've pretty much clumped up as much as they can in front of the roaring fire in the fireplace, but as far away from any of the ladies present as they can.
We should find some clothes for them and let the boys handle that.
Yep.
Come on, let's go check the barracks I'll just grab Estrella.
Magnus is just walking around trying to find blankets, spare clothes, anything to let the kids relax and warm up.
It's weird for Magnus hasn't been in this tower before. He doesn't really know what to expect, so it's actually sort of disconcerting that almost wherever he turns, he finds the things he's looking for within arm's reach.
And looks around warily. Thank you. Here, kids. Come help yourself, weans. Blankets. Fresh clothes, if you can. Is there a bathtub around somewhere? Some of them are pretty dirty.
And as he mentions the bathtub, you hear a thump from the floor above him.
Ed?
Who wanted a bath?
Yes, Medor, please.
Just go back to the badge. I'm carrying the banner on my glaive that we took from this tower.
Correct, and it's pretty much it's a variant of the insignia. But I mean, you're a military man, so you recognize that while you're wearing a squad badge, that's probably a company or battalion banner.
All right, thank you.
Eody's going to be useless and shrug his shoulders and start eating all the food while they handle the kids.
Yeah, food's delicious. Seems like these, except for Magnus, they pretty much knew what you guys prefer eating as well. So it's mostly your favorite dishes stacked up. Although Eody, he can't really hear it, but he can kind of feel or an emanation of like cursing and muttering from the kitchens in the first floor as more and more food keeps appearing at a rapid pace.
Do not challenge me, specters. I will eat all of this. And I will continue to munch.
Right. Medor sees like the scouts say, or the two in front of the tower, they blow on a whistle, some sort of signal, and it doesn't take long until two of the men of clay come sprinting up, take the message, and just parkour their way over the rubble, heading somewhere.
I assume Estrella and I find a lot of clothes lying around in the barracks to bring him back down.
It's weird. It's mostly uniforms.
Well, it's better than tatters.
Absolutely.
Dark forest green uniforms with the accompanying belts and leather gloves and wolf pelt cloaks with a wolf head on the right shoulder on all of them.
Well, that will keep them warm.
Definitely. Are there some in our sizes as well?
There are definitely some in your sizes, but they've got the badge on them.
I'm gonna look for one with mine.
Yeah, easy to find.
Yeah, I'm gonna change into this after I've taken a bath. But first we need to get the children warm.
Absolutely. No.
Let's grab as many as we can and get down.
Magnus is actually having fun, having got someone to help him take off his the top half of his armor, and he's just herding the kids together in groups. Some of them with blankets, and plunging them in the bath one by one.
Yep.
We're just gonna leave the clothes here, okay?
Aye, it's great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you look clean enough. Out you go. Next.
Were there any midnight elves or half elves amongst the children?
Mostly half elves. No midnight elves, but maybe 60 out of 80 are half elves of some variety.
He's great with the kids.
He absolutely is. Want to go check out the officers' quarters, see if there's a bath there as well?
Oh, gladly. Nice warm bath. And
Clean
you
clothes.
think? Yeah, you think we find a place where we can clean our clothes, or will this strange tower take care of this?
Yeah, you just leave them and they'll take care of it.
Interesting. But handy.
Very. Come on. We'll go look for the officer's bath.
Can you help me afterwards to cover up their tattoos again?
Of course.
Thank you. Oh, I'm not too sure yet if I should show them openly. I mean, they are kind of nice, but they do signify something that I do not like.
Although if you put on this uniform, they won't be visible at all anyway.
Well, I mean the ones on my face, and she points to her face
of
where the golden glowing tattoos are.
Yeah, let's take care of that. Come, let's bath.
Right, so Eodi's eating, Magnus is washing children, Estrella and Marisol are taking a bath. Mador's outside, waiting for a runner. What's Zara and Edamir doing?
I'm heavily leaning against the wall, the tower too, by the way.
Yeah. So what's Zara and Edamir up to?
I'm just taking a nap.
Right. It's actually difficult to get the space to take a nap because there's too much head pats and tummy rubs coming from kids as they kind of find out where he's hidden next.
Zara's gonna slip out of the chaos and head back towards the underbelly. I'm gonna look for the man and woman that I had rescued.
Right, the underbelly. You're gonna have to give me a little recap of that. It's been a while since we played.
Whenever we're looking for where the children were being abducted to by the miscellaneous nuns that weren't part of the orphanage, Zara disguised herself with Edamir and wandered down into the lower, the poor section, where she found the old man and his daughter talking about how the nuns had come to their house.
There we are. Thank
Zara
you.
followed them, and they got poisoned by the doppelganger.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to take Zara about an hour to make her way down there.
And she's going to disguise herself again on her way through.
Yep. Walking from the tower out into the cold of the morning, or the night, actually. Well, it's starting to be morning now. You did spend some hours in that training facility. Zara can feel like the aches and pains of all of the fighting going on, but she does make her way down to him. A bit slower than she'd liked, not quite as spry in her step as she would be with a full night's rest without, constant fighting. But she gets down there as the sun is starting to clear the swamps around the city. You can see the old man is outside boiling a pot of water on a small portable stove, smoking a pipe. They've got the door open, so you can see the young ladies inside chopping, looks like some sort of beets and carrots.
Zara's gonna sit down next to the old man. She's wearing the same face that she wore when she originally saved him.
Yeah. He looks up and like, the wandering apothecary. I wondered when you'd come around. What do I owe the honor?
Oh, just making sure that everything is going well and There's no adverse side effects.
Well, I believe I'll be doing most of the housework for the coming at least few days. Saved her life, but she's very weakened. Shaking hands, dizziness, unsettled stomach, some fever, but she lives. That is the most that I could ever ask for. I do not have much to repay you. If there are any specific herbs or alchemical plants you need, or fish or spider guts or whatever, of course, speak to our extended family and contacts and see what we can arrange. But it is the best that I can do. And to say I do not, I'm not a rich man.
Well, you're rich in one thing that I find quite valuable, and that is information on the herbs going around. If you could spread word, if anyone attempts to buy large amounts of smiley weed, could you send word to the Rusty Pot, to a Zara Alpendu, and let her know? There's been some unsavory actions. Your daughter is not the only one that has been harmed by this movement, and we're trying to get to the root of it.
You can kind of see his face hardening and setting once you mention that others have been injured and had problems with smiley weed. Like, of course I'll talk to my cousins and brothers and nephews. We will let you know. There was one man I know earlier that tried to buy smiley weed, but from what I hear, he was shot with some sort of alchemical contraption and killed at the satyr's hairy behind. There was another, but he was supposed to buy from my second cousin, but he never showed up. That's all I know for now, but I'll make certain you get to know more.
And don't put yourself at any kind of risk, because harm coming to you would be detrimental to the cause.
I can't give you information if I'm dead. I know this much. I'm not a young man anymore, and I wasn't much of a fighter when I was. I'll be as discreet as I can.
I appreciate you. And then Zara's going to leave.
Right. Meanwhile, back at the tower, most of the kids are washed and have eaten. It's like having your own little Eagle Scout troop with all of them running around in the same uniform. But they're very, very tired. Most of them have just fallen asleep, sitting leaned up next to the walls for each other, close to the fire, mostly when the Mother Superior arrives with son of a biscuit. I'm gonna need to make a glossary of who's who. The large flesh golem that's joined the Men of Clay. Preacher, you gotta help me out here.
Chastity.
Chastity. No, wait, no. Chastity's your daughter. No, I mean,
yes.
Ward.
Faith.
Faith. Yes. Him and Faith, or the Mother Superior and Faith arrives. There's still a lot of rubble. You can see there's been barricades in front of the tower, and a lot of the Men of Clay, maybe 18 of them, are just parkouring their way over and starting to work on the rubble from the other side and from the side of Mador. And then Mador can just see like huge, like 9-10 foot sections of beam, and probably 600-pound stones are just being heaved over the wall. out into the swamp as Faith comes from the other side with the Mother Superior.
Mother Superior. I hope you're ready for about 80 children.
Well, Grandmaster, she says, nods. We'll of course do what we can. Finding clothing for them will be difficult on such short notice, but
I think most of them are clothed as it is. This tower is amazing.
you can see some confusion on her face. But well, would you mind telling me how did you come across 80 children in one night?
Well, remember those nuns that you said aren't part of it? Well, we kind of found they're all hags.
Oh my, we need to.
And through the whole time, these nuns been going around collecting mostly girls between 7 to 11 from people who can't, because of the war, saying they're bringing to the orphanarium, which they never did bring them to the orphanarium. They're bringing them to that old orphanage down that you told me where this address was. And we ended up going in there and we destroyed the hags. And there's, like you said, there's about 80 children in there, maybe more.
You destroyed the hags? They're no more.
I sure hope they are no more.
What am I? She actually falls down to one knee for a moment, like, you definitely have earned your title of Grandmaster. I will make certain that your name is sung across the entirety of Golden Glens for this.
Mother Superior, my door is fine.
Well, please, show us to the kids. Oh,
They do seem to be a little skittish of women. But some may be, I think some are from the orphanarium too, so they may recognize you. So hopefully that would help too.
Why don't you go in, Faith, and talk to them while I stay out here with the Grandmaster? Faith looks kind of shy and kind of shuffles one of his feet a bit and like, okay, if you think I should. Then he kind of he has to lean down and go down on one knee to even get through the door. But does manage to bring his huge mass into the tower. The Mother Superior looks at Mador like, I do not expect you will be staying in Golden Glens for long. Do you know where the Night Thorns are heading next?
I have no idea. We're all pretty well beaten, some of us more than usual. I have no idea what our captain has planned for us for our next step.
Well, the rest of you kind of see Faith, the huge flesh golem turned brother of the men of clay. Let's see, slowly but surely manages to build a rapport with the kids. They seem to instinctively be lining up in two lines. And it only takes a couple of minutes before they start following him out. To the great surprise of most, walking in perfect step with each other.
Magnus
I'm
walks out.
standing there in my new uniform and looking impressed.
I'm not sure if I'm impressed or concerned.
Well, this tower has done weirder things.
True, but they are children. They are not supposed to march like soldiers.
I
Well,
don't.
better
I don't
they
see this yet,
march
right?
like soldiers than being scared like they were earlier.
Well, if it's not of their own mind, if it's not a good thing, trust me on that. Then I'd rather prefer scared.
Right, but they do start walking out past Mador and actually forming up into a square, waiting for everybody to come out and for the Mother Superior and Fate to lead them off.
I've seen this before, have I not?
Well, from what you can see, they're just acting like any any military element of their size would.
I follow out. How do I look now, by the way?
The uniform Marisol's put up has both pants and smock would probably be the right word for it, or in a deep forest green with brown leather boots. Pretty light, obviously meant for scouts, not for cavalry or the hobnailed heavy boots of infantry. Some steel detailing. There's a belt both around the waist and a bandolier over the chest, in addition to the squad markings that have shown up. There's also one bronze sword on each shoulder. Also comes with gloves, the white, not white, but the wolf pelt cloak with the head on the shoulder, and a rather large leather hat, wide brimmed. Seems like it would keep the rain out of your face nicely. But inside there are woolen flaps that can be pulled down to cover the ears.
Well, I walk out. Mother Superior.
Preacher comes along as well if I'm done with my exercises.
If you can give us half a second. The Mother Superior was just about to answer before Preacher comes around. I was like, well, Captain Marisol, don't you look formal?
Archaic, more like, but yeah.
Well, yes.
Everything I had was reeking of hag, so I needed to.
I don't know if archaic is actually the exact word. I mean, these uniforms look far nicer than what most city guard or militaries are wearing these days, but I guess from the look of it, that's a late Second Empire Scouts uniform. And I guess they had more resources. You'll have to excuse me. Many of the children in the orphanarium play a game with 10 soldiers from the Second Imperium time, and they spend often a large amount of time telling me about the details of these little figurines they've painted.
I'd love to hear more, because I have no idea what I'm wearing right now, except that it's clean and rather comfortable.
Yeah, and then Preacher comes out.
I'm wearing the new uniform as well. Looking very surprised at the formation of children attired such.
But I believe there are some differences with yours.
Yes. 3 gold swords on the shoulders, red and silver half braid on the left shoulder, silver and red patterned swarf in addition to the wolf head cloak, white. Trimmed with gold on belts, boots, and gloves.
Looking good.
Aesthetics, I don't know exactly what good is, but if you say so. why have they been adorned in this? I mean, of course, clothing, good, but
Well, it was this or the rags they were dressed in, which would hardly keep them out of the cold.
well, I hope it will do them service.
The Mother Superior looks at Preacher and like, well, seems you're some sort of officer, Mr. Preacher. If you allow me, I'll take the children back to the orphanarium and see if we can get them some rest. They do seem to be almost dead on their feet.
And maybe find out if any of their parents are still around.
Of course, we'll make every note. We'll be working with the Men of Clay to find any surviving parents.
Magnus has followed them out. He hasn't bothered putting his top back on or anything to cover it, and you can see several interesting tattoos on his back and shoulders involving wolves and stags and a few other things. You're going to have to be very careful with our Mother Superior. They're very skittish and extremely traumatized by what they've been through.
Yeah, I think you did a good job calming them down a little. Estrella steps beside him in her own uniform, the new one.
I did what I could for them.
If you excuse me, Mother Superior, I've got to go find a corner where I can collapse in.
Yes, of course. Come on, children. Let's follow Uncle Faith. And one of the kids pipes up. It's Captain Faith. Yes, let's follow Captain Faith back to the orphanarium, the barracks. Yes, back to the barracks, the barracksinarium. And they march off.
Goodbye, little ones.
And with that, it's suddenly surprisingly quiet in the tower, except for the sounds of dishes being done from the kitchen on the first floor. It takes another hour, maybe, until Zara reappears at the tower.
Those children have a lot of things to process. Oof.
Yeah, but at least they're safe now.
Oh, they were barely held at all. They'll be fine.
I'm going to find a spot where I can just collapse full armor. Just hitting the floor.
Yeah, I mean,
There are barracks everywhere. There are beds everywhere. Please find one of them.
well, even though Medora has fallen asleep sitting in a corner with his armor, obviously exceedingly tired, it doesn't take more than maybe half an hour until Marisol glances over to where he was sitting, and he's no longer there. But you can hear like a slight snoring she recognizes from a very tired Medor from the floor above where you know the beds are.
That's good to hear.
Meanwhile, I assume Yodi's done eating and now sitting in a pile of stuff, if you're identifying it.
Yeah, Yodi's sorting through all the different magic goodies and trying to figure out if anything's cursed or anything like that. I can roll for the one item that you tagged, but I don't see anything else.
Right. Yeah, you are definitely pegging not only the one you know about, but if there's any cursed items there that I forgot to tag for you, you're going to be able to spot them as well before giving them out to anyone.
Sounds good. I assume this is going to take me some time, so that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, you've probably got like a good day and a half of of just staring at all of the weird ass shit you've picked up, going through several rooms of Hagler and kind of vacuuming them for for all of anything that looks slightly magical or, valuable. And I don't know, does Sarah want to talk about anything when she comes back, or if not, we're just going to skip to when most of you guys have gotten some rest.
Nope, nothing I was out doing was party related, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, so about 2 hours later, Sarah arrives back to the tower. You see the two guards outside. They've gotten some like wooden mugs with the black bean brew that they seem happy and surprised to have found sitting on a piece of rubble next to them. They're quietly discussing where the hell that came from when Sarah walks up. Otherwise, they just kind of straighten up when Sarah comes up. Is she in disguise or not?
She's going to drop the disguise as she's walking up to the guards.
Yeah, one of them starts like, ma'am, you can't be here. Oh, shit, it's you. Sorry. Please enter. No offense meant, ma'am. They go ramrod straight as Sarah walks past. As she enters, pretty much everybody's asleep. There's snoring from several different floors. She gets the feeling that you're a feeling of safety, like you've got somebody watching your back, even though everybody's asleep. And there's the sound of dishes being done from the kitchen area with a slight like subtone of somebody muttering, but she can't feel any hostile presences.
Well, Zara's been wearing that ring of sustenance for like a couple weeks now, so she doesn't sleep much anymore.
Nope. It's still nice to sit down for a bit and just let tired muscles kind of re-knit themselves with the ring of sustenance, but she doesn't need much before she's feeling fit as a fiddle again. But it's a good 8 hours at least before people start stirring. So it's starting to move towards evening again. You've got maybe 2 hours of sunlight. So you did come in pretty freaking early in the morning before the sun goes down, when Estrella walks out, being the first one to have woken up.
Using the opportunity to seek out Bruno or someone others from the talents. Yeah.
So, not saying good morning to Sarah on her way out.
It's just a short nod. I'll be back in soon.
Zara's gonna look up from the book she's reading and wave.
Yeah. Estrella manages to get maybe 4 steps outside of the tower before she hears Bruno's voice, like, "You looking for someone?"
I'm not even gonna ask how you did that, but yes, actually.
And he's standing with... she recognizes one of the other junior agents, standing in the dress of the city guard. The other junior agent's a young, dark-skinned woman, almost like a dark chocolate color skin with curled hair kind of pressed into that helmet. And she looks annoyed. She lights up a pipe and like, "Don't be so impressed. We've been standing here for 6 hours waiting for you to come out." He's like, "Shh, don't give away all of my tricks."
Well, I am here now, seeing that you have waited for me. It seems you also want something from me, as I do from you. So what is it?
The facility that you went through, I'll need a written report on it. It's not the first of its type found in Golden Glens, but it's, from what I hear, from what the rumors say, it's the largest.
Well, wanted to give you a report anyway, so that won't be an issue. Do you have information about a man called Matthias Klavenjäger?
Nasty customer. According to the last report, he crossed the southern border to Friedrichstadt. Maybe 6 weeks ago. I expect he's back in Golden Glen somewhere, but none of our agents have picked up his trail yet. Do you have any information on him that's more current than that?
Well, with everything going on, it's hard to keep track of time, but I have met him in the Black Abbey. Surprisingly, he seemed to know who I am, or at least who I'm used to be, which affiliations.
Sounds like you need more of a general type of information about him first. Matthias was considered for our order, a little agency, if you will, but he has very strong religious beliefs that we think could not always coincide with the best of the kingdom. Even with the unfortunate surname, he's been known to be a hunter of not just hags, but especially hags. Also, any magic user he personally deems to not be reliable or good or proper enough is hunted by him.
Do you know if he has any context in Quack de Chevalier?
I'd be very, very surprised if he did not. We have a list, but it's been a long time since the name came up. And we, as you know, we've had quite a lot to do. I'd need to speak to the operatives in charge of Quack de Chevalier itself to see if they have an updated list or if it's even been something they've been considering for a while. He he lays low for a while usually, and then when he pops up, it's either as a hero, killing werewolves, or tracking down and defeating a hag, or it's as a wanted man, having killed a magic user that the local noble did not necessarily want killed.
Well,
he acts from his own convictions and nothing else. I'll not
I
say
would-
that he's a good man as such, but he's strong. He has very strong convictions, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I would certainly like to have that list of contacts. He did not give me any time limit or something like that, but he did tell me to seek someone out there and give them an item. He said I would figure out who it was that I'm supposed to meet, and I'm sure I will. But
Really?
that list could be very helpful. I do not know why he wants me to seek out that person.
What item is this, if you are willing to tell me?
Well, it's some kind of dagger, and she is taking out I think it was a stiletto. I have yet to find anything special about it.
It's not a very old design. Maybe this was in style maybe 70 years ago.
Yeah, well, I admit I didn't have much time to think about this, but I thought having now access to the information network, I could just as well make use of it.
Well, it is interesting. It's not magical from what I can see. He takes out a lens that he looks through. It's not from any particular kind of metal. I will have to assume this has some sort of personal meaning to the one you were to give it to, but well, this is why you're now a talent of the Emperor, Estella. I don't have the answers, but I hope you'll find them.
Thank you very much.
The reason we came here was to tell you so that you can let your friends know that the individual on this flying throne that led the attack on this city, she was last seen in Friedrichstadt last night, attacking some of the more outlying fortresses and holdings of a noble family there.
Which noble family?
You've probably heard of them. One of them is recently quite famous, House Arvandus. From what the reports I'm getting, they're defending themselves as effectively as you can from a surprise undead army that appears. It's estimated she'll be busy for a while. My agent down there says that with the stalemate they have going, he estimates she'll have won or lost within the next 4 weeks. But it gives us time before we can at least assume she needs to be present to lead an army herself.
Yeah.
Give us some time to figure out who she is and what in the name of Yautl she's doing before we need to act. That, and there is a large caravan of merchants heading into the city. Now, I'm not saying you need to spend money with them, but I think it would be good for the kingdom itself if the new arrivals to Ravensbridge had, say, a group of wealthy adventurers spend some coin with them.
I will definitely bring my people over there. We will need new equipment if we even want to have the slightest chance against that person on a throne. I don't think that at the moment we are strong enough or well equipped enough, seeing what damage he could lay to Ravensbridge.
I think you give yourself too little credits, Lady Estrella. From what I hear, the hags you wiped out were both well established and quite powerful. It would have cost the lives of many, many soldiers, knights, and other agents of the kingdom to go in there and clean out that. Well, I'll await your report on exactly what it was. In the meantime, take some time to rest if you think you have it. You and your band know better than me where you are planning on going. Currently, it is, in my estimation at least, the best I can do is let you just roam with your Night Thorns friends and do your thing. Seems to be the best use of your abilities.
I'm pretty sure the next trouble will find us sooner or later, even if we're not looking for it.
Yes, you could, of course, mention to your friend that likes to change her shape that Reneke was last seen on a caravan headed towards Crac de Chevalier.
Reneke. I assume with a changing shape, you do not mean Edamir, as he mostly says a fox. I think you're talking about Zara, right?
There we are. There's that big brain that made me want to hire you in the first place. And there's our relief. Finally you come. We've been here for hours. As two other soldiers, city guardsmen, arrived. They salute and he gives you a little wink behind their backs before they walk off. And while Estrella's up chatting, the next two people to awaken are Iodi and Preacher. So you come out finding Sarah with a big book, and you don't know what the servants have been doing, but obviously there's 2 mugs of different types of tea, a cup of black bean brew, a cup of espresso, a mug of ale, a stein of beer, and a glass of white and red wine in front of Zara, and uncertain whether any of them have been touched, in addition to a sandwich that's gone cold a while ago.
Morning, Yuri.
Hello, Preacher.
I don't think this pace is sustainable. I would feel better for a day or two of rest. We have been on the constant fighting now for weeks on end.
I think it is more likely that instead of rest, we just find different things to do. Yodi has much to do today.
Yeah, speaking of, I need to see if I can find that brethren of mine that needed to chat with me. Shoggoth, if I'm not mistaken, that was the King's Champion that spoke to me 2 sessions ago?
That is correct.
In that case, I wish to poke my head out the door and ask one of the guards if there is a runner available.
We can make one available for you, Master of the Men of Clay, of course. You are the Marshal of the city.
I would like to know if the King's Champion has time for me, and at what hour in that case.
I will send a message at once, he says. Gets his flute up and blows it. And doesn't take long before 2 men of clay show up to take the message.
Well, I send them off and admonish them to be respectful to the King's Champion and go and find breakfast.
That's being served as you come back up. And yeah, what's Iodi doing? It's just sitting back down.
Alright, so Iodi sits down in front of Zara, and he kind of like reaches towards the cold sandwich that she's ignoring. And I'm going to begin to consume it. And then I'm going to be like, so Zara, I have found many things in this room of the hags and all of these things. What would you say about this handle? And I'll pull out the hag's heart handle and put it on the table. Do you think we could make use of this for you, huh?
Zara's gonna examine it and pull her Shatter Talon off her belt and set it on the table and be like, depends on if we can trim it down to fit on my hammer.
Oh, I think Iodi is more than capable of doing this, if that is what you would like. Though I will have to take your weapon with me for, a time.
I can always get it back if I need it.
This is true, but be careful if you do this. It may not be assembled properly if you do.
I'll keep that in mind. I have a backup as well anyways.
First, I will eat this sandwich, then I will attend to this. And I will begin to consume.
It's a very tasty sandwich. Made with Zara's favorite ingredients, whatever those are.
There's no meat on it. It's all vegetables.
Well, now I'm disappointed. Iodi eats half of it and he sets it down and he's like, what is wrong with these specters? No meat? Iodi cannot eat this rabbit food. Then I'm going to search for a workshop that I can commandeer. I believe I've found one in the city before, and I would like to set to doing that.
That is entirely correct. You do find a workshop you can use. It's on sale currently. There's a sign saying that you can pay the innkeeper at the neighboring tavern a sum of 150 gold to buy the property.
Is there anybody inside it?
Not when you look into it, no. But it's got an intermediate, you'd say, lab setup. You'd need to invest in some stuff to make your most advanced potions and serums and that sort of thing. But it's probably a fairly successful apothecary that ran it.
Is there like a workbench where I could work on assembling this weapon for Zara and things of that nature?
There's several workbenches. This you'd eat your cloak if this was not a gnome's workshop, because this is set up for alchemy, tinkering, silverworking. It seems like he was looking into gunpowder, and in the cellar you can see like 7 or 8 workbenches for other things that have been disassembled and put down there. You know for a fact gnomes they have hobbies and they also have very short attention spans.
You said I have to go to the inn next door, it says?
Yep.
I'll slide over there then.
Yeah, inside there's a elderly man, very, very large, probably 7'2" or so, but going to fat with a downright majestic beard. He takes one look at Iodi and like, you're here for the shop?
Iodi looks way up in the air. Yes, Iodi would like to purchase this shop, I think.
Excellent. Well, let me get this sheaf of paper out of my bar. He takes out a legal-looking document for the crest of Ravensbridge's magistrates on it. And like, sign here and then pay and it's yours.
What happened to the gnome that used to own this?
Same thing that happened to a lot of people in the last few months. He got eaten by zombies.
This is a terrible way to go, and I will sign and slide the money over.
Yeah, and he gives the deed of ownership to Iodi.
Excellent. Iodi rubs his hands together. It was a pleasure doing business with you, very large sir, as I come up to this man's, ankle.
Very much pleasure doing business with you, tiny dragon man.
And then I will head over to the workshop and see if I can work on fashioning this Hag's Heart handle into a Shatter Talon type deal for old Zara.
Right.
Do you want a crafting roll?
Crafting roll would not hurt. Oh yeah. It's going to take you roughly 1 day. Just getting the shaft fitted, getting the handle onto it, and then getting the different magics to speak to each other without them going kablooey. That's the most time-consuming part.
Yeah, but I got magical crafting and all that, so it should be good to go.
Yep, especially with a roll like that.
Excellent. Well, that's how I'll spend my day then.
Right. Meanwhile, preachers managed to eat before one of the watchmen at the door kind of opens the door and like, Master Preacher?
Yes.
There's a very large man here.
I get up and open the archway all the way.
Yeah, you're gonna have to actually go down and outside to meet Grimaldus. He won't be able to fit inside the tower currently.
Yeah, okay. I got.
Yeah, Grimaldus is waiting outside. You can see the guards are kind of subconsciously trying not to shy away from him. He's roughly 9 feet tall and crafted from what you're fairly certain is adamantium in a very ornate uniform that looks surprisingly like the one you're wearing. Not exactly identical, but with variations onto it. He actually takes a surprised step back as Preacher comes out wearing his new uniform. The guards sort of jump a half step back as his huge foot just crashes down on the stone of the bridge. He goes down on one knee so he can see Preacher eye to eye.
Well, I thought I would be going to you, sir, but thank you for agreeing to see me. We had a discussion, I think you said.
Indeed, we have. Had I known... You'll have to excuse me, the uniform. I have not seen it for a very, very long time. And your kind were rare even then.
First question, my kind?
Yes, the Nomatophoros. In the language of the current era, the closest translation would be a breath taker, but it's not fitting as such. You were rare back when we were common. And you're the first one I've seen since Awakening.
And what was the purpose of the Nomatophoros?
Nomatophoros were only attached to the most important of nobles, generals. The Royal Council of the Imperial Council of the Empire, each one had one attached to them. Their charge to absorb the spirit should one of them be slain, so that it could not be summoned or bound by anybody else.
I have fragments. One being guarding general.
You can see him closing his eyes and leaning his head back. I can't remember that general's name, but I do not think you and I met personally. But from your uniform, which I assume to be correctly showing your rank, you would have been a Numataforos Tribune in command of the local Numataforos in your region.
I went through a Second Legion training facility along with my group and received this plaque and was proclaimed Colonel Chaplain Hiram.
It's safe to say that you must have belonged in this region then, because if they had your name on file. Good. Congratulations on doing the AFFS qualification. Not many made it into the Empire's elite in the Frontier Force.
Thank you. There are so many questions. I have only fragments of what I remember, and that particular Gnomish general and the battle I remember was in the Valley of Gnashing Teeth.
Oh, the Gnomish general.
Yes.
His name I cannot remember, and I should. I know I should. Because we knew each other quite well. He was the general of the guard forces for the Imperial capital, which was located in what is now the Valley of the Gnashing Teeth. If you were assigned to him, then it must have been very shortly before the final battle there, where we would definitely have met.
There's also been mention of me possibly being the Praetorian Guard of the Second Legion.
I would assume if you were... I will tell you some of the big picture of what I can remember myself. I cannot remember every detail, but more than you, obviously.
Yes, please.
The Second Empire had 2 armies, if you do not count those abominations that were the Neverborn, or the Ironborn, but they were not counted as one of us, and I believe if you had ever come into contact with one of them, only one of you would have survived you. What you were created for was basically anathema to them. There were 2 main military branches. You had the Imperial Guard that stayed within the borders of the Empire, kept the peace, kept the Empire safe, and defended from aggression. I was a general in the Imperial Guard. Late into the wars, when they were running out of fleshlings to throw into the grinder. And then you had the Frontier Forces, which I can see from your uniforms and what you're telling me you were a part of. These were elite, sent to different areas, different continents, parts of the world that were not yet part of the Empire, to, well, as the Imperial generals and the Imperator said, to unify them into the Empire. I know Frontier Forces were pulled back. Those who remained loyal to the Imperial Council, you must understand, a large part of the Frontier Force, they rebelled under a general, which I cannot remember his name for some reason, neither that or of his officer staff, but they rebelled and they counterattacked back into the Empire, bent on taking the capital where our gods lived, or what at least claimed to be gods. They cannot have been, because they were killed by by the frontier general and his companions. You would, I assume, have been part of those who stayed loyal and then have been formed into the Praetorian Guard to protect the Imperator and the other gods in the Imperial Council. Safe to say, with the formal Imperial capital now being a huge hole in the ground filled with orcs, we failed in our mission to defend them.
Yet somehow we survived the ages in various forms and states.
Well, yes. The more I've learned about our own creation in the years since I awakened again, the more I realized that it was not necessarily a bad thing that the Imperial Council were destroyed. You must understand, though, we were not originally from the Imperial Council. We were made in an era before this again, by the gnomes. But the gnomes, in the long run, they lost the war. The gnomes and the halflings lost the war with the upstart races, the elves, men, dwarves. Those of us that survived at that time, well, I don't know what they did, but I know that we slept for a long time then as well, before being reawakened, you can say, during the Second Empire, serving there as well. And then when the Second Empire fell, it goes black until we wake up here. We were made in many different forms: bodyguards, assassins, generals, soldiers. You, my friend, well, the Breathtakers, the Numaphoros, were the last line of defense for both the gnomes and halflings, and for the nobles of the Second Empire, able to absorb a soul and then ideally fight their way out of the situation where their charge was killed, so that priests would have access to the soul to put it in a new body.
Has that skill been can souls stored within actually be given a new form body even in this time and age?
In this time and age, it is rare. It's not like it used to be. Magic. Well, the quality of magic users, it leaves something to be desired in this day and age, I would say. But there are some very talented souls who can still do this. I would be careful in the current situation of letting anybody close to your receptacles.
Yes. I currently carry 2 of our lost party that were under influence of our opponents. And I've captured them somehow. Not exactly sure how, but I did. And I am not certain what state their souls are in. I've been trying to commune with them. The art, if there ever was one, I'm not sure how it works.
I could not tell you. It is not a power or ability that I ever commanded myself or much understood. It would have been the fleshling priests of the gods that would have been in command of you. As you heard it yourself, you were called a colonel chaplain, meaning you would serve the temples and not the army. I would not actually have had any command authority over you even back then.
Speaking of, Colonel Chaplain Hiram, is Hiram a title or a name?
It is a name from the time of the First Empire. It might have been your original name. I learned of mine long ago, but I will not speak it now. Now I am Grimaldus, and Grimaldus I shall stay. I've been given a third attempt at life, this time without any imperiums towering over me. The king, he might have many faults, but he does not think himself a god, and that in itself makes him worthy of service in my eyes.
I have not met the man, so I will not speak of his qualities, but I respect the fact that he commands your loyalties. Which brings me to another question. The ways which we were controlled back then, have they been destroyed, or are we at risk?
I wish I could answer that question. I hope to whatever gods currently reside in the heavens that they were destroyed. If they were found and recreated, especially by the force that now opposes us. I do not think neither this country nor any other country currently in existence could stand against that sort of army. And I do not remember much. This is by design, I believe, but I know enough of our creation that I would never wish it upon another.
I have worrying news then. In one of our forays, we came across a underground facility, much similar to the tower behind me, occupied by friendly spirits of the Second Legion. And in their ruins, there seem to have been documents. Let me fetch it. I go to fetch the scroll of basically the list of people that were in the army of that current one, and bring it out and point to the fact that somebody was very interested in the items on how to transform souls into beings such as us.
He sits very still for a while. This is disconcerting. I must return to the capital at once. One more question, if you have it, but then I must go.
I have in my charge a young one, a new reborn. Chastity is the chosen name of that form. It appears to be a weapon form. What can you tell me of such a being, and how do I train her?
She does not have memories.
None.
Might be that she was newly created, but not activated when we all went to sleep. If so, she's more or less a blank canvas. You'll need to figure out what her specialization was supposed to be. Or, I'll let you choose this yourself. You could let her decide what her specialization should be. But one will be much easier for her, of course, having been created for it. So, is it the right thing to do, to force our kind into what they were crafted to be? Or should we let them find their own path? I'll leave that to you.
Thank you. King Champion.
Oh. Colonel Chaplain, if you'll excuse me, I need to deliver this news to the Royal Council.
Of course. I stand to attention until he has left, and then turn around, ignoring the guards because I'm too flabbergasted, and just walk inside.
The guards are standing as straight as they could possibly stand. You don't think they could stand any straighter without actually breaking anything. As the two of you walk off.
Holy
and
smokes.
On that notion, Magnus and Marisol and Edamir have also woken up while you were outside speaking.
Good morning. Or good night. I have no idea what time it is.
afternoon, I think.
Aye, good afternoon. Coffee? Anyone?
Black bean brew, yes, please.
1 bucket.
I'll start with a bucket. That sounds good.
I'll just have a mug full of black bean brew things.
More for me then.
You can hold the refill.
That's true. Slept well?
Aye. Wee bit sore here and there, but other than that, quite good. Yeah.
Very. I was so tired.
Aye, that complex was something else.
Yeah, well, at least we managed to do whatever it was we did, and the hags are gone. Ugh. You know, I'd never seen a hag before I met these guys.
Be glad for that.
I am.
Aye, they're not exactly pleasant, are they?
Not at all.
Still.
And I don't think any of them would be able to even get to Green Hill. It doesn't feel like it.
Would hope so. That way all your people in your home would be safe. At least
From them.
Oh, I wouldn't discount their ability to just be whoever they want to be and get wherever they want to be. Wherever there's humanoids, there's hags.
That's why you never trust your eyes.
No, but I do trust the Lord and Lady of Green Hill. Although, according to Walter, there's an entity here that could fight them both to a standstill, and that's very scary.
Not knowing the Lord and Lady of Green Hill, I'll take your word for that.
Have you heard about the Heroes of Bourgogne?
Magnus spits his coffee out on the floor and coughs. Once or twice.
Green Hill is led by Signe and Arn.
But the problem with putting all of your faith into monolithic entities is hags are a inconvenience to the weakest and most unseen amongst us. They've been living here under Raven's Bridge for who knows how long, just picking off the children of the poor.
So don't be weak.
Take care of the weakest, I think.
Aye.
No,
Speaking
I
of
think
which,
Ed has it right. Be strong, because you cannot rely on someone else to save you, because no one will.
Well, at least we are working on that.
it's a bit cynical for me, that Zara.
I don't know. At the end of the day, all you have is yourself.
And your friends.
Unless they're hags.
Well, last time I've checked, you are not, and without you, I'd be dead 10 times over.
Yeah, but how do I know any of y'all aren't hags?
No, you gotta take my word for it then. I lift my coffee mug. Besides, I don't think a hag would be able to scratch your ears like I do.
I don't know. They got some pretty good nails.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd be cut to shreds rather than, cuddled.
Aye. Cute does not seem to be at the top of the hag's priorities. No cuddles come to that. In any case, hope the kids will be alright now they're away from those hags. I hope they settle in with the orphanarium.
At least they are better off today than they were yesterday.
How do we know that there's not any more hags leading the orphanarium?
We don't.
I
But
would
we-
know if I got close enough to them.
So we'll just send you on an excursion there to just go greet everyone that works there, perhaps?
I doubt that they are at the orphanarium proper if they went through so much effort to establish the minor orphanarium under the bridge.
Which we now have destroyed.
On a different note, should we do something about the random teleporter in the tower that anybody that passes that gauntlet thing can just pop up in?
The what now?
You know, how we just teleported?
He's thinking of the exit way from the training dungeon up here.
Yeah. You know, the hags could have popped through that at any time.
Could they, though?
Yeah. They passed the test.
Do you really think that this tower would let them in?
I mean, they had the badge.
However, curiously, they did not use this tower at all.
I think it would be very not to their liking. Troublesome. At least.
Well, whatever it is that lives in this tower with us, they seem very friendly. I can't see them getting on with the hags at all.
No, they definitely are friendly. Oh, and I sent the king's champion off to the king.
The king's champion? Was he here?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
We had a small chat.
Great.
Did you get some answers to your questions?
Yes.
Good for you.
I am shocked and pondering everything. Apparently, I served a very special function in the old days that I didn't know about.
So, more answers opened up more questions again.
Yes and no. Definitely more questions, but also more defining answers about my abilities, in particular to the fact that I seem to be able to carry two of our former friends along. Apparently, my kind was called Nematophoros, and we were basically soul guardians for important generals. If they were killed, we were supposed to capture their soul, keep it safe until it could be re-implanted in a new body. The ultimate safeguard.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure it's possible to re-implant a soul in this day and age, but it's something to consider.
Well, I'll rather have them with you than out there making trouble like they have been.
I'm also concerned whether or not they are still under influence from them evil ones, or if they are better now. I don't know.
Speaking about troublemakers, although no, not you, Ed. But I'm not even sure if that one counts as troublemaker, but more than a direct threat. But I'm sure you remember that person on the flying throne, right?
Yes, hard to forget.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, that person is at the moment down in Friedrichstadt. Apparently attacking a noble family called Arvandus.
Well, you know the rules. Unless we get paid for it, it's their problem.
Oh, well, we haven't been asked to help at the moment. They apparently can hold out a little bit longer, and I think another point of information it will be more interesting to you, Zara, and that is that someone named Reneke was last seen with a caravan heading to Character Chevalier. I don't know how that would be interesting for you, but I've been told to tell you.
He's someone I suspect is in cahoots with the hags we just killed.
Well, he has been seen there. Oh, and something that will interest all of you. A large caravan is heading to Ravensbridge. And yeah, I would say we spend some coin there. We could use one or two things, I think. At least I can.
Sure, I'll go shopping.
We'll need
think
to
of a
visit the
few things.
Grandmaster and get paid for all these hag heads.
Yep. That too. And considering Friedrichstadt and all that, we are still under contract with the local nobles here, so we couldn't leave even if we wanted to.
So, seeing that there may be someone connected to the hacks in Character Chevalier, this Reneke guy, I also have personal interest to go to Character Chevalier. So, Friedrichstadt seems to be able to hold out for maybe another 4 weeks in a stalemate. Could we make Character Chevalier our next goal, maybe?
Well, it's a possibility, but first we'll need to see what our current paymasters say. And I'm guessing we get an answer from them within a few days. Now that they have control over the city. But yeah, I'm all for a shopping trip to the caravans, and I will see if I can find out what's going on. I'll take my hat and go to find Walter.
Right. On that note, we've been going for a while. Let's take a 12-minute break for bios and popcorn, that sort of thing, and we'll be right back. There we are. And we're back. Right. So, it is my understanding that most of y'all are going to be taking the time and use it somewhat wisely when it comes to having a breather. So if you have any scenes you want to play out with anybody, I'll need to know about that. Otherwise, we're just going to go kind of round table and see what people are going to be doing on their rare but so precious downtime. And I think we'll start out with Zara.
Well, Zara happens to like making use of Master Eodi's capabilities, so she's going to visit this caravan and see what kind of runes they got available. Need a resilient rune for my armor. I'm also going to acquire some supplies to bring to Eodi because I need him to make me another wand of blur, because only having one is not acceptable.
Yeah, pretty much with the combination of the caravan, the Mages College getting up and running, and just various and sundry, especially with Zara's contacts, being able to get black market stuff. Pretty much any rune from level 11 and down will be
And
be
we
available.
mentioned it before, but didn't talk about it. Are we going to be able to get bounties off of the hag heads?
Yes, indeed. I did the math on it. That's 4,600 gold. It is a lot of gold. The kingdom pays very well for hags. And a moon hag alone is worth about a quarter of that price.
The
So
split?
it's 575 gold each.
Man, your accountant is good. But yeah, getting what's needed for Yodi to make a wand of blur and a resilient rune, those are fairly easy things to do. Takes 2 or 3 days for the caravan to actually arrive, get set up, start resupplying some of the shops here, and the Wizards College, the Mages College, who used pretty much every spell component they had fighting the undead. And we're almost down to throwing stale buns at the end there. But more caravans keep arriving. Seems like the Kingdom of Golden Glens is putting a fair amount of resources into getting Ravensbridge up and running sooner rather than later.
Aside from that, I'm going to need a little bit of time to double check everything. I'll send you a message about it later if I do any shopping. With my free time, I would like to spend some time earning some extra money, because the next level of runes are expensive.
Right. Excellent. I know you know the rules for making money downtime real well, so I'll trust you for that, and it'd be nice if you could help me with that with the others as well, so I don't need to spend too much time looking that up.
Yep. I roll a lore check. You tell me whether it's a success, a failure, or whatnot. I do have a feat that increases my results of Underworld lore by 1 tier.
In that case, that's going to be a success.
Then we go to this handy chart. We bump some numbers. What level task was it that I found in this town?
I'm going to say a level 7 task. Let's see what you're going to be able to find in this town currently.
And then how many days are going to be available for me to work it?
Y'all will have roughly 30 days. So let's say 30 days for ease of math.
Then we stuff that into a calculator and out it spits a number. So as a
Perfect.
master in Underworld lore, at task level 7 with a success, it's 2 gold, 5 silver a day.
Ideal. Perfect. So that's what is that what Sarah's going to be doing in general?
Yep. Working specifically on progressing her mining contract stuff that she's been working on in Ravensbridge.
Right. And over to Estrella then.
Estrella is going to the caravan. She is shopping for Dust of Appearance, Shark Tooth Charm, and also for ingredients to make some poisons. Namely, citrus oil poison is what she wants to make, grapefruit, hunting, or she's just looking if the poisons itself are available. And she's also looking if she can find any sleeping poisons instead of the deadly ones.
Well, any poison. It's I mean, in Ravensbridge, actually, alchemical reagents and stuff like that aren't very hard to get. It's the main export of Ravensbridge. So pretty much any poison from level 12 and down, she'd be able to find the reagents for and pay market price for. Level 10, 11, and 12 poisons, she'd have to pay an extra 10% for, because it's more risk, and most of their stocks of really powerful reagents have been used fighting the undead.
All right.
But other than that, it's fairly minor and easy to make magic items, not difficult to get.
So the dust of appearance on the Shark-Tooth charms are available as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Seeing how
And
she's using quite a lot of the Shark-Tooth charms, she's purchasing several of those.
very well. And other than shopping, how's she planning on spending her downtime?
Not really in need of money, so she would spend it either helping others in the group with things they need from her, and yeah, trying to take Magnus on a date. She just does not have any dating experience.
Very well. We might have to play that one out as we come along. Perfect. And that takes us to Preacher.
Right. First of all, the shopping. I'm going to ask, I think, Quinn to begin with, for a rule interpretation. The Robe of Ebon Soul is a +2 AC item. You can't actually attach a Magic Armor Resilient rune to that one.
So you can. The robes of the Ebon Soul are functionally explorer's clothing with a +2 rune on them.
Mhm.
So you can stitch the resiliency rune. You just treat it like it's explorer's clothing with a fancy name and additional effects.
So would the AC stack? No.
Resiliency rune is a bonus to saving throws.
Mhm.
If you would like more AC out of it, you would have to upgrade the +2 rune to a +3 rune, which costs like 20,000 gold or something.
Yep, 24,000. I'm trying to understand the text in Archives of Nethys. That's the question. Okay. In that case, we're going to look for a resilient rune with a +1 bonus to save. Because I'm getting tired of getting all the will saves failed. Is there such available, Shoggy?
Come again, sir.
A rune of resilience.
Rune of Resilience. If it's at level 10 or lower, it's available, yes.
It is. It's an 8th one.
In that case, it would be available, yes.
And I have no further research at this time on other items which improve will save, so I'm going to stick with that and save some cash for future. Downtime other than that is going to be helping to create the organization with the Men of Clay, training with them, daily regimen, and also spending a couple of hours per day in meditation over the wraps of Ebon Soul in conjunction with my ability as a soul keeper, breathtaker, meaning how to actually channel this through them, or do I do it myself? And we came up with the idea that I do it myself. So I'm trying to commune more with the souls that I have in my chest, basically. Other than that, if available, party training with my sniper partner or my backstabbing partner.
Right. Are you gonna? It's gonna be a lower warfare for you as at the difficulty of a level 5 task to start setting up the Men of Clay. It's not. It's just a bare bones of the organization. It's not super difficult yet, but it's gonna get more and more advanced as you go on. Are you gonna wrangle anybody in to help you with that?
Yes. I will definitely ask any other Grandmaster available if I can have some assistance from one of their clergy. Or clerks of some kind, or men-at-arms or something, just to help give me some advice, along with people, of course, from my own ranks, to kind of flesh it out. It's not going to be exactly the same as other organizations, but it's definitely going to need some kind of structure.
Well, one thing you notice is that as the marshal, you're actually going to have to hire some lawyers.
Ooh. Funding.
The most dangerous creature.
Oh, yep. I will have to budget that out of the Marquesas budget for us, I guess.
Yeah, like a good lawyer will run you about 5 silver per day.
Ooh.
That's as good as they get. That is the premium to hire. Or you can go as low as 1 silver per day.
No, I think we want the best to begin with, at least.
Yes. Accept no substitute. Right. Okay. So that's stuff I need to take into account. Good. But yeah, laying the bare bones of the Men of Clay is pretty much what you're going to be able to do in 1 month. Like training regiments, ground rules, start getting like the judicial status up about whether they can do no-knock warrants and that sort of thing. But it'll take a lot more work than that to actually set it up properly. But it's a good start.
I also try to come up with a way to basically have a small squad with me and use them to train, for one thing, of course, but also I want to exchange them back home so they can take back news, come back with news, and also further hammer out how we're going to do this on the fly, wherever we're going.
So you're going to want, once you guys leave, you're going to want to bring a small contingent of Men of Clay to kind of act as messengers. Is that what?
Yes.
What you're laying down? Okay. Right. Yeah, well, I'll get back to that.
Lost. It's actually the Chastity. We're going to have some kind of scene with her.
Yes.
Next time.
That we definitely will have to do. Okay, that's some notes for me to take. Thank you. Off to Magnus.
Okay, well, Magnus is going to enjoy a stroll around the caravan's wares with Estrella. He's also going to go shopping for a number of runes. A resilient rune for his armor, and very weapon potency runes, and 3 of them, and possibly a thundering rune.
Yeah, unless Eodi can and has the time to craft them, there's going to be only +1 runes available to buy currently.
Okay, Magnus will just focus on the thundering rune and the resilient rune then.
Right, those are easy enough to get hold of. Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he's just going to look at Estrella and they're going to talk quietly about what the heck they're going to do for a first date, I guess.
I'm actually going to counteract myself there. There are going to be +2 weapon potency runes available, but not +3, unless Eodi's got the time and money to craft one.
Yeah, the +3s are a bit out of reach at the moment.
+2s aren't cheap either. That's going to be a 10% markup on those. There's been a lot of need for magical weapons lately, strangely enough. So it's a seller's market right now.
Yeah, might get 1 then and pass on the others for now.
Right. Anything else you want to be doing?
Let me see. Just maybe do some work with the Odie, look into tapping his knowledge on how he brews medical potions like elixirs of life, and just seek to help anyone looking for his religious council, or is anyone looking for martial training or something like that. Other than that, just to relax it, really.
Okay then. Sorry, I'm trying to do multitask here. Over to Marisol then.
Yeah, I'll be shopping, but I need some time to figure out exactly what, so I'll send you that in a message.
Very well.
And then I will spend some time with Walter and see how he runs his mercenaries, to learn from him and help him if needed be, and work with the powers that be to create control and law in the city.
Right. Very well, very well.
That's a lore warfare, I'm guessing?
If you're helping Preacher and Walter, yes. You're definitely going to be a lot of help.
Thank you.
And I'm also going to work with Preacher on our spotting regime and be available for anyone that needs me.
Right. So you do manage to start integrating the mercenaries who it's looking more and more like they're going to be hired on permanently by the city as part of the guard, since most of the city guard were annihilated. But getting them to start working more formally with the Men of Clay and start working out the various legal finesses with that. You have yourself some long nights with a lot of espresso, listening to lawyers speak in ways that make when Preacher casts spells sound like it makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll also put in a date or two with Walter as well, since we don't know how long it'll be till we see each other again.
Gotta try to get hold of that small dog. Okay, Ed, what you gonna be doing?
Yeah, that first day while Yodi's out at the workshop, I'm gonna sneak into his room, turn into my kitsune form, and I'm gonna empty out 3,000 gold onto his bed.
Right, the bed creaks and collapses more or less instantly from the weight.
I'm gonna be like, now that's starting to look like a proper bed for a dragon. Now I'm gonna turn into fox form, sneak out, and I'm gonna be using my downtime to do my bargain hunter, just buying and reselling at a profit from the caravans.
Arwina, are you using nail polish?
No?
Where the hell is that smell coming from?
Yeah, I smell it too. I'll go look for it.
Thank you. I heard Tiny Dog sneeze. I hope she hasn't gotten into a bottle of nail polish. Don't know where that would even come from, but
Concerning.
slightly disconcerting. Not too happy about having a strong smell of acetone show up suddenly. What? While Arwina tries to figure that out. Sorry, Ed, you're gonna have to.
Oh, you're good. I'm gonna spend my downtime bargain hunting, buying and selling for a profit from the caravans, and I rolled a 28.
Right, run that by Quinn. He's our man with the plan when it comes to that. So just do that in Discord.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that'll be it for me.
Okay. Off to Mador then.
Okay, I'm gonna spend at least 2 days of rest.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, no.
After that, I'm gonna be heading over to talk to the Grandmaster. And I'm also going to be spending some time with the orphanarium with Mother Superior, just more chit-chatting. And I'm going to try and find out more information about that midnight elf hedge knight that headed off with a caravan 2 days before the siege start. I think her name was Dawnfire, I believe. Because I have a hunch that I want to follow, and I may have to follow that caravan.
Mm-hmm. Right. So before we do any scenes, let's just pop by Yodi and see what he's going to do in the downtime.
Yeah, okay. I got a list. So Iodi's gonna start off with cleaning up his little workshop that he's got now. He's gonna work with some glass blowing because he's a master crafter in glass blowing and things. And I want to make a sign for the front, Iodi's grandiose gallery. And I'm gonna start getting all that clear and set up so that I can do all my things and stuff.
Right.
I'm also going to take some time with this bellicose dagger that I identified that was cursed, because you said there was a chance I could uncurse it. So I'm going to spend a little time seeing if I can do that.
Interesting. Right. Give us that glass blowing check of yours first.
Perfect.
Oh boy.
The first one.
First attempt, obviously, after eating some of those spiced crickets, he already has himself a little hiccup and blows some flame, and well, that's the end of that attempt. So, actually gonna have to redo it. Yep, no spiced crickets, and of course, makes it easily enough, and well, you can pretty much decide the amount of time you want to spend to how fancy do you want it. Is the Odie gonna have like glowing mushrooms in it to make it like a neon sign, or is he just making a glass sign?
No, I think I'll go all out. He'll spend a few 3-4 days on this, making it, as shiny as possible. A little bit of enchantment here, a little bit of flash, we gotta have some flair in it.
Right. Yeah, so like a floating sign with the Odie's grandiose gallery and kind of like going on and off like a neon sign type thing.
Absolutely.
What I'm picturing. Yeah, there we are. Very, very, just the sign itself pulls a lot of people, actually, as viewers.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get it set up so that any of these like extra things that I've been collecting, items and stuff like that, I'm gonna set up like a little gallery spot where I could sell things and people could just look at the collection of items that I've accrued and all of these things.
Starting to set up a little hoard.
Yeah, that.
Very nice.
Part of the reason why I want to uncurse the dagger is to put it on the shelf, as it were.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be 3 DC 30 Arcana rolls to fully uncurse it.
Oh, I already failed one. Yeah, maybe next time.
You can retry it, but it's gonna take you about 2 days for each roll to do it. You do get a +2 for your for being in your shop. So you've kind of set it up to your liking and attuned the magical energies and calibrated the flux capacitors and whatnot.
Yeah. Dude, this is not... and then most of what I'm gonna do other than that is work on the runes, because Magnus had 2, so that's a couple of days. Preacher had 1. So
might have 2.
Yeah, so that's like 5 runes. That's like a week of my time right there. Finishing up Zara's weapon, also doing the thing. I'm going to collect all that gold that Edamir piled onto my bed and move it into the workshop, because I'm just going to stay here and not in the tower. And I will busy myself doing those things. I also have a couple of spells that I'll message you about later that I need to spend some time learning as well.
Gotcha.
It's like 2 or 3 of them, but it's not a thing I have right in front of me at the moment, so I'll get them by to you before we do the next session, and we can handle it that.
Perfect.
And that's all I'm going to do.
Right, so for scenes, so far I've got Magnus and Estrella, Marcel and Walter, and then Mador wanting to talk to the Grandmaster. Anybody I'm not aware of now?
Chastity, but we can take that next time.
Yeah, some of this will probably be taken next time. but at least one or two I want to get done today. We will probably call it quits within the next 15 minutes because this acetone stink is giving me a mighty headache. But I want to drop some knowledge on some of you before that. So, first of all, Estrella and Magnus. At the end of week 1, you've gone to one of the newly started restaurants you've been hearing people talking about it a lot. It's das unglaublich leckere Schweinekotelett. Started up by some people from Friedrichstadt who are specialized in serving pork chops to be exact. And you've got yourself a nice meal there with bottle of wine. There's even a bard playing a violin over in one corner, very like quiet romantic songs. So probably about 15 other couples in here. It's one of the larger restaurants with like red and white checkered cloths on the tables and some nice glassware. Some very good beer served with the pork as well, in very large stains. And I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm. Well, yeah, they said this restaurant would be good. Do you like it?
I mean, aye, the food's nice and the music is, it's kind of calm and makes me feel a little like taking your hand, but no rush on that. And I mean, I don't know. This is. If I took a girl for a meal before now, it was, out in the forest, build a big fire, kill a deer, roast it, and just scarf it down and have some beer afterwards. What about you?
Well, it's not like I had much chances to date, so well, I just asked some of the guards if they had a recommendation. But now that you say it, maybe we should have gone with your idea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nice and all. It's just she looks around. I don't know. Feels a little bit strange to me.
Well, I mean, we're here, and it's a nice enough place. There may be something new. It's good for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should learn a little bit more about what most people do for dating and such. It is kind of different from what I've known. That much is sure. Well, I mean, you've been to Zeeps more. Well, not voluntarily, but yeah, that is mostly everything you need to know about it.
I know what I've been told about it. But yeah, well, we're not here to talk about that, are we? Well, except how it affects you and how you grew up and how you came to be who you are. Yeah, mostly we're just here to have a nice time and explore how we feel about each other. And, I don't know, is that a dance floor over there? Do you dance? I don't know.
I've never learned to dance. Well, unless it's, for assassination.
Well, I mean, I know how to dance a little. I can lead you around the floor a while if you'd like to.
Sure, why not? But first, how do you feel about, well, she points to her face where her markings at the moment are covered by makeup. Well, this whole, well, husband situation. I wasn't aware of it before that happened.
Well, I mean, he called me a moron and bound me in magical change and basically dismissed me. So I'm not exactly in a good mood towards him. But you know, that doesn't affect how I think about you. Like you said, it wasn't something you knew about when you joined the army. I'm more curious about this background that he was of yours that he was hinting about, because it's just finding out about you.
Well, it's not like I joined the army. I was made a slave after all, or born a slave. Didn't have much choice on that. Like anything in that matter, apparently. I just really hope that he does not see too much through Zara. I'm really worried about that eye that he gave her.
Aye, well, it was quite a magical blast it issued the other day when we were at the training facility that Zara summoned on the moon hag. But again, Zara's not here, so it's just us.
Come on, show me how to dance.
Max extends his left hand to her and leads her onto the floor.
Right. You get 2 dances in with the violin, enjoying your time together. Just being close before you hear the innkeeper going. And now, we have some traditional music from Friedrichstadt. Please do not stop dancing. This is perfect for dancing too. And you see 2 men with tubas walk up to the one with the violin.
Magnus is intrigued. He has no idea what music they're going to play.
Right. Well, it is definitely some sort of freeform polka.
Estrella just doesn't know what to do. She's just standing there.
And while you're dancing, another couple swings by. And Magnus's hand is deftly moved to the hand of a dark-skinned lady as Bruno swings by and like, may I have this dance? And swings off with Estrella.
Yeah, just a minute.
Can't you see I'm on a date?
Yes, of course. However, this ungodly racket is the perfect time for me to give you a little update on what your friend preacher told the king's champion.
Go ahead then.
There's not much we know, but there are 3 places that could hold fragments on the knowledge of how to create people like your friend. One would be the Grand Temple de la Moisson. The other is a merchant. He calls himself a merchant prince. He's very rich, but a merchant by the name of Gorgias Bremerklaben in the city of La Rochette. And the last in the ruined city of Roppenheim in the chained wastes. These are things I thought you would like to know. Oh, look, my dear, they're serving refreshments. And he grabs the other agent, leaving Magnus free to pick up Estrella's hand again as they pick up some pie and drinks from a tanuki that's appeared next to the dance floor with a huge shit-eating grin. And Timmel kind of winks as he disappears into the crowd again. And on that note, we will go to Bonti and the Grandmaster, and that's going to be the last scene of the day. Yeah, Grandmaster, as you approach him, much more relaxed. Ooh, somebody's got a cone of shame. Oh no. The cone of can't scratch the butt. Anyway, this time you actually meet in the private room of the Rusty Pot with wine and food. Yes, Grandmaster has clearly stated that he's tired of standing around on battlefields having a chat when he could be sitting down.
I fully agree with him.
But you've had a very pleasant meal, just kind of having small talk and exchanging pleasantries, and some sort of dark brownish brandy has been served with a imported delicacy you've never heard of called a sachertorte. When he looks up at Mador, it's like, well, Grandmaster Mador, I assume you did not ask me to meet me just for small talk. I could, of course, hope so, but for men in our position, it seldom works out like that.
First, you can drop the Grandmaster. You just call me Bador for the time being, please. I'm just the Knight of One, remember?
So far, yes.
That is one of the things I would like to talk to you about. I need to find some area where I can start forming a new the Golden Wyvern. The Order of the Golden Wyvern. And I need some suggestions on where. Now, you did give me a farm. I was told, I assume I'm not a Raven God Knight anymore, so that's probably gone back into your pool.
It has, although I think this is a blessing in disguise currently. The farm, it's not well placed for having a castle or any sort of stronghold built. Of course, the Raven Guard stronghold, or the Golden Wyvern stronghold, I believe will not be suitable for your needs any longer, as it is, in my experience, a large pile of rubble with some demons in it. It would probably be less than ideal for your purposes. There were deeds to various plots of land in the Golden Wyvern Castle, though. Many of them in other nobles' lands, marches, baronies. Getting hold of those, I believe, would secure both a flow of money for you and at least one piece of land still. Many of these have, of course, been given over to the ruling nobles of these lands, as we thought the Order of the Golden Wyvern was lost for good, but many of them are still held up in the courts with lawyers fighting tooth and nail over who should get them. Some of these you should still be able to claim to if you can manage to get hold of the documents. That would take you into the Chained Lands. It is not a place to go lightly, even with such a accomplished band of warriors as you and your friends. You would have to bring a caravan with. You would need to bring food. You'd need to bring water. Nothing in the Chainlands is edible or drinkable anymore. many caravans of adventurers and some knights have gone on quests in there, but either they don't come back at all, or they come back after a while, maybe with some riches or lost artifacts, but also, speaking of demonic influence, even the animals now mutated, changed by the corrupt, hellish energy. The only ones operating more or less at their leisure in there is the Order of the Nail, the Order of the Chain, as they're called here. And even that is only due to the large amount of devotees of Yautl they have that can summon food and water for them and cleanse them of this demonic energy. It would be quite the feat to travel in there. Also, very, very dangerous. There's a black dragon in there. The name escapes me, but it's a fairly old one, and from all we've heard, it's also been corrupted by the fiendish energy. So, even more twisted and tormented than it used to be. And from all reports, it was pretty bad as it was.
I take it this is also where my barony lies too.
Indeed, any claim to those lands, I would. That would be a very, very long-term proposition, I believe. But currently, the rank of Baron is mostly for the social standing and the judicial defenses you get from being nobility. Were you to reclaim the full lands and power of the Golden Wyvern, it might take you up to the rank of Marquis, I believe. The former Grandmaster held, but this is the thing in Golden Glens. It's one thing to call yourself a Baron or a Marquis, but you need gold, you need lands, you need troops, you need power to to hold on to the title, or another noble will simply attack at some point and take what is yours.
Well, again, the title came to me through research that Mother Superior did. I'm a bastard, so I'm not technically in blood, I guess you could say that. And I couldn't take my group into that group because it's not money for them. They only work for money.
Well, I wish I could fund you currently, but rebuilding will take a large amount of our funds. Although the matron of the orphanage, she tells me that the kids you rescued, they seem to have a very strong martial bent to them. A side effect, I believe, of being severely mentally exhausted and then entering your, from what I understand, haunted, magical, or both abode.
I think it has something to do with the uniforms they're wearing, to be honest with you. I
Be
would
that
probably
as it
say
may.
Mother Superior wants to change it back to their normal orphanage uniform. The military strictness of it may leave and they can actually be kids again.
This is a way of thinking. I would ask you to consider, though. For one, it takes years to train a knight. They are at an age where I believe it could be beneficial to them, but more importantly, with what they've seen, what they've experienced. Currently, they have each other for support and conversation. But if they were to be broken up, sent all around Ravensbridge, Golden Glens, as they apprentice for work, could be that even if you take them out of the uniform, they will never be able to be normal children. They saw some some horrible things. Perhaps training them to fight this darkness could be the greatest mercy you could give. You do not need to make a decision now, of course. It is not me you answer to anyway, but it's a perspective I would advise you to at least keep in mind.
Who do I answer to?
That is the beautiful thing currently, is it not? The only one you really answer to is the king. You have no liege lord, unless you choose to swear yourself to one. If you do, I would suggest you get a good deal out of them when it comes to giving you financial and support and some lands. Your order, well, usually your order would take up all of your time, but an order of one is a fairly simple order to rule most of the time. I do not know what oaths you have sworn to your companions, but I guess those also would be what bind you the most right now.
I really haven't sworn no technical oath to my companions. They are companions. I lost one that was a very good friend of mine, Cal, the one that ended up being the general of the undead army. Otherwise, I go where Captain Marisol sends us. I'm kind of what you call the invisible man there. I hold the line when it's needed.
Well, my friend, there are worse things to be, believe me. However, he looks up at the server, who's like holding out 4 sheets of paper. Seems my time of leisure for this evening is over. I hope we can meet again before you leave. But I must be off.
Any word on Aberdeen? Where is she at this time?
This is a long conversation we must have. Let us have it over another meal before you leave the city. There are many things I need to tell you, but I cannot do it here.
Farewell, Grandmaster.
A good night to you, Grandmaster.
Mador, please.
Yes, Grandmaster Mador. And he gives Mador a little grin and walks out. And on that note, thank you everybody for joining. We will let our esteemed master streamer, Mr. Tulmar, find somebody to raid and go over there. Then we're going to have ourselves our usual off-stream debrief. This session will be up on the YouTubes sometime during Monday. Takes me a couple of hours to upload it, as in 6 to 8. So it won't be up until tomorrow morning. That would be Monday the 30th. So until then, you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well, and I will see you all next time.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.